Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is boy Sal from Trading here, and today we're going to be looking at Sndl, Sndl Growers Incorporated, and we have some news to discuss about this stock, and we're also going to be doing a graphical analysis, the short-term projection of Sndl, where I think it could reach in the next couple months or so, and also as well we're going to be talking about the whole legislation behind the legalization of recreational marijuana. Now, it has already said that it has been legalized in New York State. So what normally happens is once it gets legalized in one state, everything follows suit, but we will get onto that shortly. But if you haven't already, please remember to hit that like button and subscribe if you're new. We're currently on the road to 2,000 subscribers. Crazy, I know. And, you know, I can't thank you all enough for the support on this channel. It's absolutely insane. And without further ado, let's go on with the video. Before we get into today's video, I just want to say I'm in no way, shape or form a financial advisor, and please take anything I say with a pinch of salt. I'm simply a university student studying business and management, and that is all. Stocks are battlefields. Be sure to do your own research, your own due diligence before entering into the battlefield. I can only scout the battlefield for you, however, I cannot fight the battle for you. With that being said, let's move on. Now, the short-term graphical analysis of Sndl, in my opinion, it's not amazing right now. Now, from what I can see, Sndl is in a bearish trend. And don't panic too much, but I'm going to explain why. So right now, the BOLL, it crosses this midpoint at the 1.07 mark. And what that will basically mean is that Sndl right now is oversold. Now, I wouldn't panic too much because, as we all know, Sndl has been very heavily in the dark pool share market. It had the highest dark pool shares within that market. I think it was 5.6 billion or something insane. But then you have to remember that that is not as big as Sndl, or not as big as NAKD, sorry, because the market cap of Sndl is 1.66 billion shares. So we always have to take into account that Sndl has a lot more shares on the market. So, you know, that 5.6 billion isn't as aggressive as maybe like the likes of NAKD, which had a 400 million market cap, but had 4.3 billion. So that was a 10 times share increase from NAKD. Whereas for Sndl, it's times 5, which, don't get me wrong, that is still a lot, actually times 4, but don't get me wrong, that is still a lot of shares, right? That is still heavily, like there's such heavy volume in this dark pool for Sndl, right? But we have to take that into account. So right now, short term, I think what we're going to see is we're going to see the stock go down more, but I reckon we are going to see a reversal itself. We are going to see some sort of catalyst that will drive the price of Sndl back up to, well, we don't know actually. Like, it's hard to really tell in the current trend that Sndl was at, but I could potentially see this retracing back up to maybe 1.2 potentially, like $1.20 that is. But we are going to see some downward action, in my opinion, within Sndl over the next couple weeks or so. But we will see Sndl then rise up again once a catalyst comes to the table. And don't get me wrong, there are catalysts in the table, and I'm going to get onto that with the New York legalization of cannabis. But, you know, I'm not here to BS you. I'm not here to, you know, blow smoke into a stock. I'm going to tell you exactly how I see it, and, you know, that is the whole point of it, right? But Sndl short term can reach $3 in my opinion, and I still stand by that statement. But there is going to have to be a lot of catalysts and a lot of stock, well, sort of stock price action for that to be able to take place, right? So, you know, I'm not saying it's not going to go up. It doesn't mean that I'm not bullish on this stock, because I am, or else I wouldn't make a video on it. But I think we are going to see some negatives before we see it rocket back up again, if that makes sense. So, you know, all my opinion, take what I say with a pinch of salt, but that is my stock analysis of Sndl at the current moment. But, you know, that all can change. The stock market is a very volatile place. You never know what's going to happen today or tomorrow. So, you know, I may have something new that comes up tomorrow. Who actually knows? So, you know, that is my analysis of Sndl currently. And we're going to get on to the New York State legalization or legislation that's going to be put in place. And I'll let you know more about what I think of that. Okay, so I'm going to tell you all the facts that I know about this New York State legalization of recreational marijuana, right? So, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo signed a bill on Wednesday to legalize recreational marijuana for adults, paving the way for retail sales in the state to begin in 2022. the possession of up to 3 ounces of marijuana was immediately legalized for people 21 and over, but prominence of the legislation said it would likely take until next year for the state to finalize regulations for retail sale. So what that basically means is SNDL won't be able to actually sell the marijuana until potentially 2022. But again, that's not too much of an issue, but we may have to wait longer than what we imagine, right? So that's what this article is saying right here. I don't know, what was this article from? Doe Jones Newswires. That's where this article is from. But I got this straight off Moomoo. So if any of you have Moomoo, you can see this article as well, right? So Mr. Cuomo, a Democrat, in his third term, signed the bill after it was approved by the state assembly and Senate on Tuesday evening. The governor announced his support for legalizing recreational marijuana in 2018, but disputes about how to structure the legal market and spend related tax revenue held up earlier legislation, or legalization. So basically what that means is that he doesn't know how to spend the tax money behind this stock, right? So they have been talking about giving back to the community. I saw an article based around that what they're planning on doing is basically giving back to the community with some of the tax money from the marijuana, like, sort of assembly. Okay, so I'm now going to read through all the states that currently have marijuana legalized for recreational use. So you have Alaska, Arizona, California, Colorado, you have Illinois, you have Maine, you have Massachusetts, Michigan, Montana, Nevada, New Jersey, New York, you have Oregon, you have Vermont, but only up to 1 ounce. Virginia, Washington, and that is all. So those are the current states that have marijuana completely legalized for recreational use. Obviously, there are different rules for different states, but those are the ones that currently have marijuana legal. But obviously, I don't know all the legislation behind it. I don't know how much, for example, someone can have in possession of marijuana. I don't know how many plants they can have. I don't know the full be-all and end-all of it. But what I can tell you is those are the current states right now that have marijuana legalized, right? So, with that being said, that is going to do it for today's video, and I'm here just to inform you and give you my opinion, right? So that is all it is to it. So thank you for watching. This B-Boy Sam from our train. See you next video on the channel. Take care, everyone.